Guys, I'm back, and if you haven't seen, you need to see the first video on my new approach to narcissism, where I'm getting away, and I know they were funny, from all the rants and raves and stuff, and keeping this more, not so much me ranting and raving over particular things that have happened to me. Of course, there may be some videos I put back on because they're very, very generalized, okay? Apparently, my narcissist had seen my... the first video explained had seen my videos, and I did get hurt his feelings. Anyway, so some of those things I took down, but I'm going to put some things back up depending on how they're done, right? I don't want to poke at, who cares, but it's, anyway, I have every right to make these videos, okay? Narcissists hate this. I have every legal right to make these videos, and again, I was told to stop making the videos, and that he was collecting the videos to use them against me, or he would call the, get the lawyers. This is blackmail. If you do this, I'll, no, well, sorry, I'm not going to be blackmailed into that. I know that. My parents work for the Department of Justice. I have a lawyer down here. I've already been through, I know this game. So anyway, no more to him. Everything's blocked, but I'm going to continue this because we need to learn, okay? These people will hurt you. They get off on hurting you. Why would you want to hurt? Quit asking why. That's where I'm at. Let's talk to the narcissist. Let's have a conversation. Maybe we can make him see the errors of his way. This is a guy, these people spend their life putting their middle finger in God's face, and they're pissed at him because they think they are the ones who should be worshipped. Remember, narcissists don't want to be loved. They see intimacy and love as weakness and inferiority. What they want is a slave or a lapdog that will sit there and basically lick their butt crack at every single thing they say. If they tell a story, the lapdog needs to believe it, or at least believe like they do. If they hurt them, they should enjoy being... It's crazy. It's nuts. How did I get wrapped up in this? I know. I'm not blaming myself. I broke my no contact rule, but no more. I mean, everything's blocked. Everything's good. And I have no intention of ever even looking or breathing or thinking about those morons again. But anyway, I want to go through some basic things that all... Oh, my gosh. Sorry if you have to see my behind in the video. All right. Hey, cool. Few things, not actually see my behind, that all narcissists, malignant narcissists have in common, and sociopaths. There's a fine line between the two. Okay, study the work. By the way, having talked to lawyers in the past and having friends who work for the Department of Justice, one of the things that they all study. I have a friend at work. He's a really awesome guy, big athlete guy, football coach. Very smart dude, big time history buff. And he was talking about how, anytime you go to study criminal justice or law, you have to study criminal psychology. So even though they don't necessarily talk about malignant narcissism per se, there's a lot of the similar traits that are found in sociopaths and psychopaths. And they do study a lot of the work of the world's most renowned expert on psychopathy, which is Dr. Robert D. Hare. I studied a lot of his work, his book, Without Conscience. I would totally get that. I would also suggest, if you want some heads up on how these weirdos function, Without Conscience, I would study that. Also, here's a good one. It's kind of long. Snakes in Suits, When Psychopaths Go to Work. I'm sure a lot of us have dealt with that. There's one that's a little bit too metaphysical, a little too new agey for me, but it has some good things, and that's People of the Lie by Scott M. Peck. And another one that I really like was called The Sociopath Next Door by Martha Stout. So you'll start getting into this groove of this lack of empathy kind of thing. See how these guys think, okay? So some of the things they all have in common, okay? Remember, the narcissist hates videos about narcissism. I'm going to suggest some sites here in a bit that you should all go to. Very generalized, not picking on anybody. All of my examples of narcissism are going to be things I've experienced, other people who have experienced, that I've read about, that I've learned. I'm very, very good at this game. They lack empathy. Okay? They lack empathy. They don't care. They don't care. You're an object. You're a tool. Nothing. Now, you're not. You're made in the image of God. You have infinite value. You're made imago Dei. That's the Latin version of it. But to a narcissist, you're just an object. You're just an object. You're meant to be used and thrown away. There's an old saying that society collapses. In society, a healthy society, people are meant to be loved and objects are meant to be used. The sociopath, malignant narcissist has it backwards. He loves objects and uses people. Now, not only what I've experienced from people that I've been around with narco weirdos is that the object becomes their life, the way they'll study it, smell it, make a friendship with it. And that's not right. But yet a human being is an object to be used and discarded. Sam Vaknin, and I don't agree with everything he says. I know he claims that he is a narcissist, but he claims that the narcissist sees people as three-dimensional cartoons, objects, and basically the bottom line is they don't have any ability to relate to other people. Do I think they're evil? Yeah. Do I think that there's some sense of demon possession going on there? Yeah, especially something that happened today where I was thinking something in my mind that was kind of mean. It had to do with somebody shoving their head up somebody's crack, and then all of a sudden on the messenger, the narc tells me to take my pig nose and shove it up someone's crack. It was almost like he was reading my mind. That's creepy. In other words, I think there's somebody else inside that blank brain. It's scary. Anyway, scary, but I'm not worried about it because Jesus Christ is Son of God and Son of Man. But anyway, and maybe I'm wrong. That could be just be coincidence. But yeah, there's a lot going on here in a cosmic scale, I think. So anyway, they lack empathy. They're completely grandiose. They lie perpetually. They're always entitled. They play the victim. In broken relationships, you'll know them by their chain of relationships. They don't they use people and they're manipulative. They don't like their new supply, whoever they're with at the newest thing, to ever contact any of their older ones. That is why, sorry about this focus, that is why they make a point to control the communication between the old discarded supply and the new supply, okay? Because if it ever got out to the new supply, the way the old supply was treated, that might raise a red flag, okay? And they can't have that because they will lose that new supply. That is why they'll triangulate and try to make you the new supply and the old supply fight over them so they get all that attention, they can get high off of it, but then they want to destroy the old supply. And so they get that attention. They destroy the old supply that way and discredit it, right? They slander it. They smear it to the new supply. That way there's no communication there. The narcissist will already have demonized the old supply to the new supply. That way the credibility of the old supply is shot, and then they can never be warned. For example, if you have I'll take an extreme example, somebody that's raped their wife. Then the old wife is going to tell the new wife, hey, this guy is abusive and he's going to rape. Well, then the new wife will already say, well, you probably say that because you hate your own family and you say all those mean things because you're abusive. You abuse your kids. What? But he has already got there first. This is a game they play. And I can understand why they hate these videos. But again, I'm not mentioning any names. And all the ones where I even inferred they were somebody were taken down. I might put some of them back, but I'm going to check this very carefully. So when somebody says, oh, look at this video post, I'm going to get a lawyer. Oh, okay, so I can't post, and if I'm caught posting, you're going to come at me with the law. Again, that's threat. You're threatening me. This is coercion. This is blackmail. But I guess you can break into records, and that's not a felony. Actually, it is. I checked on that. I even called on that. But that doesn't matter, because we're beyond that, right? We're going to love like Jeebers would. Okay, they're like empathy. They're grandiose. The one thing I love about their grandiosity is the crap stories they will make up. It is amazing, the crap. I have heard it all from, I'm going to be the next, superintendent of like the next 10 districts, to I fly through outer space and meet aliens, to I fought off a guy from robbing a store. I haven't heard some really good BS stories. And not only do they say these stories, they actually believe them. I think they have to. I think they have to convince themselves that these are true. It's really, really strange. Lies. Do I need to say more? They lie about you. They lie about me. They lie about themselves. And then I think they convince themselves of their own bullcrap. I have a lady I work with that's really, really cool. Very, very smart woman. And she had been through this with a former relationship with a former ex-husband of hers. Again, never any names. And she was saying basically, yeah, it's interesting. They believe their own BS. That's what's funny. Prime example I can think of was a man, a narcissist, that was cheating on his wife. He was going around. He was stealing money out of her bank account and putting it in his own private account and then buying stuff for strangers to impress them to get his narcissistic supply. When he was caught cheating, he turned around and accused her, the legit wife who caught him, of being a cheater and an abusive wife who ran off to Florida with some African-American gentleman and did all this stuff. And none of that was true. But not only did he make up the lie, he actually believed it. He chose to believe it. You can't reason with this. I made a mistake. I made such a mistake by even sending an IM on Facebook to my narc. I understand him being angry. He tells me, get on with your life. He's right. The guy's a loser, but on this one, he is right. He's totally right. Because you can't reason with that. Entitled. They believe they deserve everything. They don't believe they have to work on anything. Years ago, I talked to another gentleman, a different gentleman, that said that he had gone to apply at a university, and he was a musician, and that when he had first got there as a young man, he thought that everybody was going to come in and just give him record deals from like RCA, and he was surprised when it didn't happen. Well, really, if you're not, you shouldn't be surprised it doesn't happen, because it takes a lot of work to get any sort of deal like that. But working at stuff is just not something they believe. Kind of like everything should come to them just because they're unique and special, and they don't quite register that it ain't. Okay, they always play the victim. I love this one. Oh my gosh. You know, again, a narcissist, they're not physically abusive, but they're very emotionally and verbally abusive. Some of them can get physically abusive. I think if they knew they could get away with it. Remember, the narcissist doesn't have empathy. He doesn't have a conscience, but he does fear repercussions. If he could take his face, and if a wife disagrees with him, or somebody, he'll sit there in a rage. I've seen it in their eyes, that evil eye. They'll take their fist and punch her square in the mouth. They'll turn around and play the victim and go, her mouth attacked my hand and it's bleeding. Poor me, poor me. And then they go convince the courts. Now, if any lawyers or legal counsel are watching my videos, listen and learn, ladies and gentlemen, because you have come across the master. How many times in your courtrooms have you seen some idiot go in there that you know he was guilty? I mean, he had basically evidence written all over him. And when you were like, how could you have, how could you have taken the razor blade and cut that little girl? And everybody's all appalled on the jury, and even the guy who's defending him is like, even the guy defending him that knows he's wrong, he's doing his job and trying to make a case, even he's like appalled. But then the guy's sitting there with that confused look on his face, like, I don't understand why everybody's so upset about this. What's wrong with these people? And they don't get it. They just don't get it, and everybody's like, oh my gosh, how many times I saw one in a court case that was great. Oh my gosh, this judge, booyah. A great guy. I've been into a lot of that stuff lately, by the way. I got a little certificate in constitutional law, having gone through this stuff, having talking to a criminal justice major. I've learned a lot from a lot of people. In fact, I even talked to the case manager down here the other day about my jury duty. So, yeah, I've been around these circles. It's been kind of fun. Another thing that I've seen was this judge, and this was really, really cool. This guy had a kid, and I don't remember whether he murdered somebody or something, but the kid started crying in the courtroom, and the judge says, I'm not buying that for 1 second, and here's why. He had a tape of the kid laughing and saying, hey, if I do this and get away with it, all I got to do is fake tears, and I'll have everybody empathizing with me, and basically these suckers will buy into it. And the judge caught him. So apparently, I think this judge had dealt with narcissists and psychopaths before. It's amazing how many people, even in the court system, still don't get that, but more and more, I think a lot of them are. The other thing you'll see that I've seen with narcissistic wives in the court system is, and I saw a judge slap this one down, kudos, that is somebody using their bench the right way. It was a lady, and I know who she was, and she would call her husband and say, if you don't give me more money, we're not talking about child support, you don't give me more money whenever I want it to buy shoes and stuff, I will call CPS and say that you're abusing sexually the children. Remember, a narcissist will lie, they'll slander, they do not care the kind of destruction they cause. God can screw himself, they are special, they are satanic, narcissistic Jezebel at their core. These people go in and out. Sometimes the law catches them, sometimes they don't, but they need to be caught because they're a ruckus, man. So anyway, so she goes in and basically tries to play the victim. He's abusing the kids. The judge turns around and says, I've had about enough of your garbage. You know that's not true, and I know that's not true, so quit playing that. Judge knocked that down so fast, she see the manipulator. Now, not everybody can. But if you've dealt with them, and I assume that if you've worked in a courtroom long enough, you'll see enough of these kind of people that walk in there and don't believe that they've done anything wrong. In fact, they could come in there with blood dripping up their head and look, why are you all so concerned, you inferior weaklings? And they give you that confused blank look. Well, sociopath. No empathy. No empathy. Never accountable. They're never responsible. When I was called stupid and uneducated, I politely, even after I was kind of a jerk, I politely said, listen, I apologize for ranting out at that at my narcissist, but this is how you made me feel by saying all those things. You said these things. They're terrible. Do you think I ever got an apology? He's never wrong. He's God. He should be worshipped. That's the way they think, okay? It is this. I think a lot of times they see themselves as the higher step up on the evolutionary ladder, but the rest of the world of normal, they don't get normal people. Normal people are like, they don't understand that. They don't understand this empathy, this intimacy. This is so beyond them. And it's sad. I mean, I want to get mad. I want to get pissed. You just want to get them and shake it out of them, but you can't because they're never going to change. They're never going to change. So, no, my narc's never going to get another message from me. No contact. It's if I can't preach no contact, if I can't do no contact, and I made a mistake. But I took care of everything, as far as contacting who I needed to and smoothing everything out. And I think that everything was fine. I think at this point, just if they leave me alone, I leave them alone, and that'll be the end of it. However, we're going to keep doing this. Okay, we're going to keep doing this. I'm not going to keep attacking anyone, but let's do a couple of quotes here. Okay, and then we'll be done. Okay, this is so true. Narcissists will destroy your life and erode your self-esteem, and do it with such stealth. Everything's underhanded as to make you feel as you are the one that's letting them down. This is done on purpose. They'll say things like, maybe, have you put on a few pounds? Oh, I'm just asking because I'm concerned about your health. But basically they're saying, you're fat and I want to hurt you. They like that. They like those jabs. If you think that, why did he say such a hurtful, or she, say such a hurtful thing about that? That was done on purpose. Okay, here's one. If you've dealt with these subhumans before, and I know I'm not picking on the same one, I've dealt with several of these people, at least 5. Nothing will ever be his fault. He'll never be there for you no matter what. He will always be the victim. As I said, he'll never see you in your need, your love. Remember, you don't exist as anything but an object to him. Everything is always about him. And if you fail him, how dare you? You will be punished. You must be punished. Okay? He'll be angry with you every single day. He'll hide behind a smile, but he's raging there. You can see it in their eyes, too. A lot of times their eyes are flat or dead or lifeless, or you'll see that a lot of times one of them will look arrogant, the other one will look dead. It just... Okay. Okay, here's one. When you finally leave, he'll invent stories about you. Yeah, they do. Right? They slander like nobody's business. They do. While you do everything possible for your relationship, he'll do nothing. It is truly a one-sided relationship. It really is. It's a one-sided relationship, and it's never going to be anything but. Okay? Narcissists are excellent actors, actresses. They really know how to give a performance, and people are mesmerized by their fake charm and innocence. It leaves the victims feeling deflated, bewildered, and confused. It's hard to change people's perception of the narcissist because they are so convincing in playing victim and tainting you as the abuser. This has happened to me more than once. More than once. That's why it's funny. Why does God allow this to happen to me? Because he's teaching me. He doesn't like seeing his children hurt by these subhuman freak shows, these demons in human flesh, these meat suits that get possessed by this angry spirit and want to go out and burn the world. And they're my kind. I mean, one of the narcissists that I had known, remember I said I've known several, specifically said that humanity is a cancer on the earth. He quoted some scientists and said humanity is a filthy freaking cancer on the earth. Now that's wow, dude, honestly. You tell me there's not something evil going on there? Okay, just because you don't feel guilty doesn't mean what you're doing is okay. No, it means they lack empathy. Narcissists play the victim while vilifying the true victims. Don't forget that one. By the way, I'll still do funny stuff. I'm just changing the way that I do it because I really don't want any problems with these turds of my past, and I'm letting these turds go on and do their own thing, right, without harassing them. That was my goal, and that was fair. It was fair for them on that. I don't like them, but it was fair for them to say, don't send us stuff. I'm good. So I won't bother them anymore. As long as I can help people on here, I'm happy. Because nothing pisses a narcissist off more than to know. See, narcissists like their own. They like to attack in shark packs. They hate empaths. They think we're weak and inferior. Now, keep in mind, I spent years doing martial arts. I know how to throw a jab and a cross. I know how to throw a front kick. I know how to take down with a leg grapple. I use some pressure points, Aikido, and staff and bow. I know how to fight. I'm far from weak. I've jumped out of airplanes, rode jet skis, drove convertibles over the mountains, climbed mountains. I am an adventurer second to none. I am far from weak. Okay? And neither are you weak because they've done this to you. They saw something good in you and they wanted to destroy it. That's what they do. Okay? Aftermath. Psychopath red flags. Your feelings after running with a psychopath, you will feel insane. That's where I was. That's why I was sending all that stuff. I was going off my rocker, but it's not who I am. This is who I am. Ryan Kavanaugh, martial artist, boxer, musician, philosopher, historian of science, okay? American history. I love all this stuff. Biblical archaeology, probably still my favorite. I love Akkadian. Okay, so this breakups hurt, but losing someone who doesn't respect and appreciate you is actually a gain, not a loss. Don't forget that. Narcissists don't change because they don't want to change. They want to keep on using and abusing because it gets them the attention they so desperately crave. Narcissists can't be fixed because they don't want to be fixed. Their disorder gets them the attention they crave and allows them to use and abuse others while still believing they are good and decent human beings. The only one they're feeling is themselves. God doesn't like them. Unless they repent, he will toss them into hell and urinate on them. And they deserve everything they've got coming to it. They say that narcissists are some of the most afraid people of death for this very reason. Oh, this one's good. This one happened to me. He uses social networking to provoke jealousy and rivalries while maintaining their cover of innocence. I was totally triangulated like that, but that was only once. Arguing with a lot narcissists is like getting arrested. Everything you say can and will be used against you. Yeah, but it's usually stupid. Narcissists tend to isolate their targets. Many will shut out the world and lose everyone who they once held dear. Don't let yourself become locked into an unhealthy relationship with a toxic person with no one to turn to for support. Don't let your relationship become a dictatorship, and that is the nature of it. Remember, narcissist has to control everything and everyone, and if he can't, he wants nothing to do with you. And if you say, oh, I want to come back and be your friend, which you shouldn't do, but it's understandable when you don't understand what you're dealing with, then they want to destroy you. You are a threat to them. You are a threat to them. They hate old supply. They like the old supply that cries and goes, why did you do this to me? Why did you hurt me? What did I do? So that they can beat you with your emotions. That ain't happening, okay? I just, was I not targeted more than once? Narcissists love to target me. And I know why. I'm happy. I'm intelligent. I'm highly, highly skilled. I'm very educated, and it pisses them off. I'm everything they'll never be. I'm not trying to be arrogant, but I am that cool. And so are you. So there's something about you they like that they can't have, and they want to destroy that. I'm just reading some of these. Oh, I like this one, and this I should have taken my own advice. Never wrestle with pigs. You both get dirty, and the pig likes it. How to cope with a narcissist? The short answer is by abandoning him. Never has there been more true statement. If you want to meet some of the most kind, compassionate, and loving people, befriend the exes of a narcissist you know. Now, I was devalued and discarded, and I am a nice, kind, and compassionate person. I just have a chip on my shoulder because of what was done to me. And they know that. The narcissist knows what they've done to you. They can pretend to be innocent. They're only kidding themselves. They know they hurt people, and they know that makes them wrong. But it's funny to them. And then they try to make you, who cares? But anyway, I need you guys to know this. And I love when they gaslight. They'll be like, they'll say, you're very stupid. And then you're like, why did you say that to me? What? I would never have said something like that after they just said it. It's funny. I look at my video on, and this is kind of based on a true story, but again, no names, about an ex-wife and her husband named Mario and Krista. I'm actually going to create a series with Mario where Mario is going to be my character that goes through and meets different narcissists, narcissistic wives, narcissistic bosses, narcissistic celebrities, narcissistic, friends, narcissistic this, and I'm going to demonstrate some of these different. The smarter you become about narcissistic abuse, the crazier the narcissist will say you are. Well, I must be a real freaking nut job, Fruit Loop, because I know all about it. Now, it's pretty funny. Like I said, anybody who studied abnormal psych or personality disorders, cluster Bs, should understand this. They should understand that malignant narcissists are a lot like psychopaths. There are some differences, though. They do tend to care what other people think of them. Psychopath red flag. Removing toxic people from your life. Let's read this one. We'll read that one later. I'm looking for some other ones. Some men are a-holes and some men are cowards. What they both have in common is that both just stop talking to you for no other reason than for that they are. Their behavior... Oh, wait. Hold on. Let's see what we got. Okay. Narcissists play dumb when they are caught. You should never feel compelled to explain the basic principles of common courtesy to an adult. They can't get it. They're like a child trapped in an adult's body. And no, an angry child with personality disorders and mental problems and so on and so forth. Notice I've not mentioned one name. None. The soul-crushing kind of abuse that is inflicted on the people who love a narcissist might not be visible to the naked eye, but it can leave devastating emotional scars that never go away. It does. But that will become my strength. I just watched the movie Samson. Samson was an angry person who hated Jesus, according to some, Jesus wasn't around at that time, but like some club Christians that are, there's a lot of churchy narcissists. I'll do a whole video on churchy narcissists. Oh man, if there's anything that annoys me more than that, it's churchy narcissists, where they use their God loves me more than a piece of crap like you and start shaking their big butt around. Oh my gosh, I hate that. Don't fight with narcissists because you can't win. I found that out. Starve them instead. Stop being a source of their narcissistic supply. Do not show them any admiration and never ever praise them. And don't show them any anger either. That was my mistake. I was sending this stuff to harass, not trying to harass him, I was trying to engage him in some sort of a debate. But of course, like I said, narcissists will punch you and then turn around and go, "Pour me," and run away and like cowards, right? They'll attack, but they don't want to defend. So there's no point. It's just no point. It's just a waste of your time that you could be using to make videos about narcissism. By the way, look at how many videos on narcissism there are. Narcissists changing perceptions one deception at a time. And I love this. Pathological narcissists are truly evil. They lack a moral compass. Anybody that says humans are cancer on the earth, it's probably a good start. They lack internal conflict resolution. They lack a conscience and empathy. Narcissists do not care the price anyone else has to pay for his free will, as long as the narcissist gets what they want when they want it for their immediate gratification, might I add, at anyone else's expense. Narcissistic parents tend to dislike their child's spouse and will constantly try to interfere with the relationship. This is because they feel threatened by the spouse. It always goes back to jealousy and being threatened and perpetual envy. The envious eye. I wonder if that's why Satan uses the eye as her symbol. The narcissist devours people, consumes their output, and casts the empty, writhing shells aside. I am the empty, writhing shell. There's just a problem. Is that the same way that Satan puts a spirit in the empty narcissist, God put a spirit in me. And I've been a fighter since I was little. I've always been a fighter. And now I'm going to fight to help people that who have been through this sort of stuff. And I will put some contact information so you guys can get a hold of me if you need. I wish I were half as cool as Kim Wilson and Richard Grant and the Spartan Life Coach. And I'm going to do some stuff here again. The narcissist identifies being loved, when you love a narcissist, with being possessed, encroached upon, shackled, transformed, reduced, exploited, weakened, engulfed, digested, and excreted. They will ultimately hate you for loving them. They will love the attention you're giving them, but ultimately they'll feel like you're stepping on them. And also, loving somebody makes them think that they're equal to somebody. They're not. In their mind, they are unique and special, and they are so far above humanity that to try to have a relationship is to try, unless you're functioning as their slave. Every wound I suffered at your hands created a scar. Every scar tells the story of my survival and your curse. I will survive in love. You will never. That is your scar. Not only will you never, you can never. Oh, my eye. I'm going to stop here to get. Narcissism and self-deception are survival mechanisms without which many of us might just jump off a bridge. Can't say if it's a bad thing if you did. Narcissistic personality disorder, inflated sense of self-importance, and extreme preoccupation with oneself. There's more to it than that. Malignant narcissists are experts at betraying people. It comes naturally to them. They feel no empathy towards their targets. They feel no remorse for their evil deeds. told me about it. They believe the target deserved it and shouldn't complain when they are being punished. Remember to never trust a narcissist's problem is you can't always tell where they are because they hide it. I like this one. Me phobia? Oh gosh, no, that's a joke. Never waste your time trying to explain who you are to people who are committed to misunderstanding you. A narcissist is someone... Oh, no. Narcissists remain level-headed until you speak logic, reason, and truth. That's when they loudly claim that you are unbalanced. The other thing the narcissist likes to do is provoke you, saying evil things to get you going, and then saying, look how crazy he is. But worship me. Who does that? Yeah. So they'll provoke you and then turn around and say, crazy. And it's a way of covering up their own crap. They like to project their toxic behavior. They're ugly, arrogant, mean-spirited, abusive, bullying, controlling, loathsome, nasty, foolish. And they put all that crap on you and beat it like a kick puppy so that they go, I feel good. That is pretty cool. Okay, I think that's probably going to be enough for tonight. Yeah, we'll stop there. Enjoy.